Hello and welcome to Ghana's 67th Independence Celebration edition of Business Live. Coming up in this edition, President Akufo-Addo hopeful commencement of the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation will soon be the game changer for the economy.
Make reference in particular to two projects coming on stream that should make a great difference to the economic fortunes of our country. I refer to the successful selection of strategic partners that will work with the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation (GIADEC) to build a new alumina refinery.
Bulletin Tullow Oil records over $100 million loss for last year due to some challenges with the Chunibwa and Tumi fields. Plus, on Joy Business Van today, the Joy Business Van tours the production hub of Tekura, the Ghanaian furniture design company, bringing attention to Africa. We have details of these and many others arranged for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojo-Baka. A look now at our stories. President Akufo-Addo is hopeful the successful selection of strategic partners for the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation to build a new aluminium refinery will be a game changer for the country's economy soon. Speaking at the 67th Independence Day celebration in Koforidua in the Eastern region, the president said that the commencement of the project will end the export of bauxite in its raw state.
We have gone through difficult economic circumstances, but it is clear that we have overcome the worst and we are looking forward to better times. I wish to make reference in particular to two projects coming on stream that should make a great difference to the economic fortunes of our country. I refer to the successful selection of strategic partners that will work with the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation (GIADEC) to build a new alumina refinery and develop mines at Nyinahini in Pasaso, as 4 projects being executed under the Integrated Aluminum Industry IAI projects. I've witnessed the signing of 2 agreements in Accra recently. Firstly, between GIADEC, a wholly owned public entity, and Rockshaw International, a wholly owned Ghanaian private company, selected after a rigorous process as a strategic partner to develop a mine at Nyinahini in Pasaso. And secondly, between GIADEC and Miscellaneous SA, a leading global industrial and energy company, which entails the development of a second mine at Nyinahini in Pasaso and the establishment of an aluminum refinery. We are finally coming to the end of decades of exporting raw bauxite from the country. We shall now refine bauxite mined in Ghana to produce alumina that will feed the Valco smelter and the downstream aluminum industry, which is going to have a dramatic impact on Ghanaian industrialization, where we produce parts for motor vehicles, aircrafts, roofing sheets, and household utensils. It has taken a long time for us to get to this stage. We've taken the trouble to make sure that we get it right.
Now, Tullow Oil has recorded a loss after tax of more than $100 million for last year. This was announced by the company after it released its 2023 financials in London today. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
Tullow Oil attributes this challenge to issues around debt associated with the Chunibwa and Tumi oil fields and challenges the reserve position of oil coming from that area. This pushes loss after tax to $110 million. Tullow over the years has been dealing with some debt issues as a result of borrowings undertaken to turn around these operations. But despite this challenge, Tullow was optimistic about the future. This is due to how things have picked up when it comes to production on all its oil fields here in Ghana. It also cites the South Jubilee project as one of the initiatives that would aid in the recovery of their operations going forward.
Meanwhile, Group Chief Executive of Tullow Oil, Rahudia, says some of the challenges that hit the Tullow's operations over the years are now over.
So I think we feel that there is a structural shift, Matt, in the industry, with a lot of the majors looking to exit mid to late life assets. I mean, that's just a fact. I think the other fact is that there are not many credible counterparts, people who have the trust of the host governments and communities, people who have the operating sort of capability. And to put that in perspective, Tullow over the last 3.5 years has secured 6 approvals on various kind of M&A sort of deals across East and West Africa, right? So, I mean, that's a real testament, I think, to the trust that we enjoy amongst our host governments. So I think we do have a differentiated access to that, and we'll work hard to leverage that in a very disciplined way, right? So one thing that I want to keep emphasizing is that the capital discipline very much is kind of part of our DNA, and the way we look at it is that we will spend a certain amount of capital to grow the business.
A while longer in the energy space, because the Deputy Energy Minister, Dr. Robert Sogbaji, says it will cost Ghana about $562 billion to achieve a full transition by 2070. In an interview with Joy Business, he disclosed that more than 55% of this cost will be coming from the private sector. He spoke on the sidelines of the GIMPA PURC policy dialogue to mark the World Sustainable Day in Accra.
This energy transition plan lays out a framework for decarbonizing the energy sector and reaching net zero emissions by 2070 while ensuring socio-economic growth and the use of Ghana's natural resources. Speaking at the GIMPA PURC First Policy Dialogue to mark the World Sustainable Energy Day, the Deputy Minister of Energy, Dr. Robert Sogbaji, says it will cost the nation over $500 billion to attain a complete transition by 2070.
Ghana, our energy transition is resilience. The energy mix is there to provide clean energy as well as resilience to the energy sector. It will cost us about $562 billion to transition. However, that cost is not coming from government alone. More than 46% of that cost is also coming from private sector and individuals who will be changing their electric motors to more efficient ones, 1-star fridges to 5-star and all. People ask, why then do you quantify it, including in a holistically? Sometimes governments come in to intervene on such policies. For example, waiving off a tax on electric vehicle. That cost must also be quantified, and that cost has been absorbed by governments. So our energy transition is resilient, and if we follow it, we will not have any crisis.
In more news, banks in Ghana posted 224.6% growth in profit for last year to hit 8.3 billion cedis. This shows a strong rebound coming on the back of the domestic debt exchange program. More in this report.
According to the January 2024 Monetary Policy Report of the Bank of Ghana, the growth outturns for key income lines of banks contributed to improved profit performance in 2023. Net interest income grew by 41.5% in 2023 compared to a growth of 18.7% in 2022. Fees and commissions also grew by 22.7% in 2023 relative to a growth rate of 25.2% in 2022. The increased growth in net interest income in December 2023, the central bank said, was on account of higher interest income on loans and investment from increased lending rates and interest rates on monetary market instruments. The increased growth in net interest income in December 2023, the central bank said, was on account of higher interest income on loans and investment from increased lending rates and interest rates on money market instruments. The moderation in interest expenses, which is attributed to the contractions in borrowings observed during the year, also contributed to the higher growth in net interest income in December 2023 relative to December 2022. The Bank of Ghana added that the profitability indicators for banking sector turned positive in December 2023 on the back of the improved profit performance recorded during the year. Meanwhile, financial soundness indicators of banks were broadly positive as of December 2023. This follows improvements in liquidity, efficiency, and profitability during the review period.
Now, the Ghana Cocoa Board has charged the newly inaugurated Governing Council of the Bonsu Cocoa College to initiate training programs that will ensure that students from the school benefit from the many opportunities in the cocoa value chain. In a short statement to inaugurate the council, Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Wine Edu, noted that it has become a worry that the major benefits in the cocoa sector are enjoyed by industry and highly skilled professionals, whilst only few farmers benefits. He's therefore demanding specifically skilled programs that will promote entrepreneurship in the cocoa value chain.
Bonsu Cocoa College was established by the Ghana Cocoa Board to train its staff on some innovative techniques of cocoa production as a primary idea. After several years of transformation, the school has been expanded to cater for some skills trainings that are needed in the agricultural value chain. The inauguration of a governing council is part of measures by the Cocoa Board to improve the production of cocoa in the country. In a short statement to inaugurate the board, the Chief Executive for Cocoa Board, Joseph Wine Edu, charged the board to broaden its scope on courses to make students benefit from the value chain.
Cognizance of the fact that the cocoa supply chain is lopsided, with less than 7% of the 120 billion annual worth of the industry going to producers, and the remaining bulk stuffed in the hands of those into trading, speculation, hedging, downstream processing, manufacturing, and retailing. We expect Bonsu Cocoa College to tailor its courses and programs to produce graduates that will eventually earn vocations in these more rewarding areas of the cocoa value chain.
The 50-member governing council is chaired by Dr. Ebenezer Owusu, who is also a deputy chief executive at Cocoa Board. He therefore pledged to support the growth of the school and the cocoa sector.
I pledge the council's readiness to do our very best to steer the affairs of the college to new heights of academic excellence and greatness, and also to prioritize efforts to promote a convivial academic environment and a learner-friendly environment. Honorable Chief Executive, from your statement of purpose that you just read, I know you expect something good from us. Cocoa Board expects something good from us. Ghana expects something good from us. That is a charge to us.
This move is expected to boost the capacity of the institution as one of the longest cocoa institutions in the country.
Now, the chair of the International Chamber of Commerce, Maria Fernanda Garza, has launched the 2023 edition of the ICC Rule of Combating Corruption. According to Ms. Garza, these updated rules will help enhance the way businesses deal with each other with transparency and integrity while avoiding corruption in the long run. She spoke to Joy Business at an ICC Ghana welcoming reception in Accra.
Speaking in an interview with Joy Business, the chair of the International Chamber of Commerce, Maria Fernanda Garza, says these updated rules will enhance transparency amongst businesses while dealing with corruption.
Bring to the 4 points something that is very important, and is recognizing that companies, in particular big corporations, need to take care of all its value chain, because sometimes the weakest link is on a third party that you're working. You work inside your company, you create the rules, you create the processes, the governance. Then you deal with other parties. So you need to make sure that those other parties share your same view against corruption, and they want to act with integrity as well.
Emmanuel Doni Kwame is the Secretary General of ICC Ghana.
I think Ghana has gone a long way with having the laws and having the institutions and departments to do it. The first one comes with procurement. That to create a leveling playing field, you will need to make it possible for people to know the businesses and the opportunities that are available to all, not to a particular group of people. And we have our own procurement laws, which is one of the best in the country. So it's up to us as a people to make sure we comply to whatever we've all agreed on.
The International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, is the institutional representative of more than 45 million companies in over 100 countries. ICC's core mission is to make businesses work for everyone, every day, everywhere.
You're still watching the Independence Day edition of Business Life with me, Pius Kojo Baka. More after this break. Back to Business Life. The acceptance of African designs is on the rise globally, and so is Ghanaian furniture design company Tekura, whose products are bringing attention to the continent. Managing Director Audrey Forson gives us a tour of the workshop where various products are made, drawing inspiration from African culture and artistry.
Audrey Forson is MD of Tekura, the Ghanaian furniture design company, which aims to tell a unique and positive African story to the world by giving local traditional crafts contemporary makeovers. The company was started by her parents in the year 2000, making carved items for the export market. Audrey started as an intern in 2008. She was born an artist, and she naturally was drawn to the business. In 2015, she took over the family business. A major part of her work is to oversee production. So Audrey, what does production entail?
Production starts basically from wood sourcing. And what I mean by that is we are going to the forest plantations to secure offcuts, dead wood, falling off branches and so on, and then track them here. And when they come here is when we take them through the various processes. Now the wood species we use is called Cedrela odorata. It's a redwood species that's very similar to mahogany and cedar. It has good qualities for export, and so we pick that, and also it's not an endangered species. And the Forestry Commission gives us permits to be able to secure all of these ones. So these will typically be used for firewood in the villages, but we go and collect them and then add value and export them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so next we head to
the production side, machine shop, to see the various processes the wood goes through to become a table or a stool. This is the machine shop, and this is where the wood processing, the various processing of the wood takes place. And it all starts here with the bandsaw machine. This green machine is the first point for every piece of wood that comes here. It goes through the blades and it's cut into blocks or forms closer to the end product. So table legs, table tops, it's cut in that form, either a pole or a block of wood. And then here we use these lathe machines to turn the wood into cylindrical shapes, rounds, ovals, balls, and so on. Then if, for instance, if we're working on a table, the table legs have been turned, they come right here to carpentry.
Tekura started with just 2 artisans, but now has a well-equipped workshop with dozens of artisans.
Now the components that have been turned or carved will come here for the carpenter to put them together. We're using offcuts, and so these sizes are small, and we have to do a lot of joinery work to be able to achieve, our objective, making the table or the stool. So as you can see, they're working on a table. The midsection has been. This is a table. Okay. The midsection has been carved, and the top was turned. You can see the chisel marks are used to form patterns on it. We're using a lot of cultural elements, symbols, designs from different ethnic groups in Ghana and around.
So this is like a sword? Or
yes, so this is akofana or a sword. In the Ashanti symbols, it's akofana, essentially a sword. It's a symbol of power and authority. You would notice that during certain festivals, the Ashanti chiefs will have them crossed, ensuring and enforcing, communicating to the citizens that he is the authority of, say, that area. So this, for instance, if you have this piece in your house, it's depicting some of these symbolisms from our cultural heritage.
Next, we head to the carving area.
Carving is the highlight of our business. Carving is a very old artisanal skill that's been with us for so many years. He's using simple tools. He chips on the wood and gradually forms a product. So for instance, he's working on this, and we've used, this is what the bandsaw does. It cuts it into form and then makes the carver more efficient. If not, he would have to sit down and use a cutlass to cut the log all around and then into the various portions. But when the bandsaw comes in, it cuts it closer to what he's going to make, which is this. So he will spend less hours getting this to become this.
Wow.
And he uses various different kinds of tools to achieve different kinds of carved designs or details.
Because Tekura's products are exported, the wood has to go through the process of drying. So what are we baking?
We're baking the wood. Over here, we're using regular ovens for baking bread, cake, and so on, to extract moisture from the wood. Because we're doing exports and it's wood and it's retains a lot of moisture, our primary goal is to extract as much of it as we can. Now, when we do this and we export the product, when it gets to, say, US and winter comes in, moisture builds up again. So when you're able to reduce the amount of moisture in the wood and then it travels to wherever, it's still, in a good range, so that it doesn't crack, it doesn't break, it doesn't start to warp or bend. These are all quality issues that we have to pay attention to, and that's why we have these ovens here, baking ovens here, to bake the wood. So yes, the wood is being baked.
Finishing is a very important part of the work Audrey and her team does. It is the final step of the manufacturing process that gives wood surfaces desirable characteristics, including enhanced appearance and increased resistance to moisture. This is essentially where all the finishing work is done.
Yes, this is the finishing area where sanding, painting, polishing, spraying happens. We're working on a tabletop here, so the surface has been sanded and sprayed, and then we'll give it some time to dry. You can see they're using different grades of sandpaper to work on the tables. She's applying paint to the work that she's doing. And there's a whole lot that happens. There's metal work that happens. We work with cowries, jute, etc. Indigenous material that adds, it gives character to the product, essentially. All of that takes place here.
One of Tekura's most patronized products is the djembe stool, a beautifully designed modern side table inspired by the shape of a djembe West African drum. It was featured in Marvel's Black Panther movie Wakanda Forever, bringing attention to the Ghanaian business.
I think when the movie came out about a week or two, then I get to hear of the buzz, I get to see what's going on. There were a number of African designers featured on the film, and I'm proud to say Ghana was part of that. So Tekura represented Ghana in the form of our tables that were used in certain scenes in the movie. So, I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it and see the good work that we're doing.
Next week, the concluding part of our feature on Tekura.
And that's it for Business Life for today. I am Pius Kojobaka. See you same time. Happy holiday.